The Steelers have invested a lot of draft capital in the offensive line the last few years with selections of Broderick Jones, Troy Fautanu, and Zach Frazier, to name a few. And one of their selections was the 20th pick in the 2024 NFL Draft, tackle out of Washington, Troy Fautanu. And unfortunately for Fautanu, he got injured during a Week 3 practice last year and missed the entirety of the season. He only played in one game, in which he started against the Denver Broncos. So today, I want to do a little preview of Fautanu for this upcoming 2025 season, and what Steelers fans can expect out of their technically second-year tackle, who will be playing his first, hopefully first full season in the NFL. And let's start. There's no better way to start off than with some third down protection. This is the first third down the Steelers have all game. And the first thing I want you to notice is Fautanu is a bit late off the ball. If we rewind this all the way, I want you to keep an eye on James Daniels here. He gets almost 2 feet in the ground before Fautanu's first kick even lands, if you can notice it there. This is Fautanu's first kick, and Daniels is already almost at his spot before Fautanu is off the ball. And this problem sort of goes away as the game continues on. Fautanu gets a little more comfortable, but I could see the nerves potentially being there with it being his first start and not wanting to false start on the first play. And then with that later start, Fautanu gets a little bit turned at the point of contact. You look at this relationship here, his backside in relation to the quarterback. You usually want to be squared up with this backside here, facing the quarterback if you're in a good position for the specific drop the quarterback's doing. So Fields drops to about this 5-yard line here, and Fautanu is basically all the way turned by the time Fields gets to the top of his drop. So he's allowing an edge to be created there with him getting off the ball a bit late. I think that he does a good job landing that outside hand. He double punches here. He lands both hands in a good position. He's kind of just a little too turned too quickly to be in a position to not get edged here. But Fautanu does a good job. And one thing I've noticed just from watching one game of tape on Fautanu, he's got extreme athleticism and a great ability to recover by utilizing that athleticism and his strength. So he does a good job. He's allowing an edge here. So Zero really just has to work on this angle towards Fields. He doesn't really have to get around Fautanu at this point, but Fautanu does a good job of, once he gets his hands on, deflecting him up the field as far as he can. He knows he has a mobile quarterback and allows him to escape the pocket. So not the cleanest first rep of third down pass pro of all time, but I don't know if a lot of guys can say they've had a super clean rep in their first big protection moment. So some good stuff out of Fautanu here, some stuff that he can definitely correct, but overall he's able to deflect Zero up the field and give Fields some time to escape and gain a few yards on the ground. So there's the start of the game here, and you'll see as Fautanu goes along, he's able to set. I think this is a really good set here, and it's one that Fautanu is able to replicate as the game progresses and he settles in a bit more. The first thing I want you to notice is that him and Daniels move at the exact same time. He's able to get off the ball when the ball is snapped and gain that advantage on his set. Second thing I want to notice, or I'd like you to notice, is that his relationship to the quarterback at his point of contact is a lot better. So you see that right hand, we'll talk about that in a second, is a lot more square to the quarterback here. Fields has a bit quicker of a drop here. It's a bit quicker of a protection, but we talked about being squared up to the quarterback in protection, and the most ideal position being you squared up in between the rusher and the quarterback there. Another thing that's really good here is a great indicator of whether you're square enough in your set is this inside foot being up the field for 2, and Fautanu's able to do that here and be in a really good position at the spot when he's going to throw his punch. And one of the best ways, I'd say, to throw off the rhythm of a pass rusher is to just punch him right in the face here. So Fautanu's right hand is a bit high, but he lands it on the face mask of Zero here. Throws off his rhythm. The hand gets popped off, but Fautanu does a good job of being able to replace it inside and anchoring down. So he completely throws off the rhythm of the rush there with that hand. Maybe sets the tone for Zero for the rest of the game. But I think this is a great rep out of Fautanu here. And one thing I've noticed through just one game of watching, obviously this was the only game he was able to play in this season. I think Fautanu is going to be really high-level NFL player in terms of anchoring down against opponents. And you kind of see flashes of it here. I think his hands, if they become really accurate, he's big and strong and athletic, and will have an easy time anchoring down on these NFL pass rushers. So good rep here, good set. Everything looked a lot better than that first third down set we watched, and you'll see that he's able to replicate this set a lot more as the game progresses. So some good signs for the Steelers, some good signs. I'm really excited to watch Fautanu play this upcoming year and excited to go through the rest of this tape. I'm going to dive into a 2-minute situation here by the Steelers, and Fautanu gets a lot of good pass pro reps on this 2-minute drill, starting with this one here. This set here is a little similar to the first one we watched on the first third down. It's not as efficient as the second clip we watched, where Fautanu was able to get off the ball quickly and get to his spot pretty efficiently. If you notice again here, Dan Moore already has 2 feet in the ground before Fautanu lands his first kick. So he's a little late off the ball again. And this is going to end up forcing him to get edged. You see how turned he is at the point of contact here in relation to Fields. And we talked about that earlier, and how you want to be in a position where you're squared up to the passer and are in a more efficient and square position where you'll be able to counter some of the moves by the defensive lineman. I think Fautanu does a good job despite having to turn because he's a bit late off the ball here. He does a good job of using his hands. He double punches the helmet again of Cooper here, but it ends up working, and he's able to deflect enough up the field. And I talked about how Fautanu, I am predicting that he's going to have a distinct ability to anchor down against these NFL pass rushers, especially this more speed to power inclined rushers. And then I also think at the top of the pocket, you can see flashes of that athleticism here as he's able to stop on a dime there and work back up the pocket once Cooper tries to redirect. The ball gets out pretty quickly, so it ends up not really impacting the play that much. But another play here with Fautanu, he doesn't get off the ball as quickly, and it kind of forces him to get edged here. And you'll see on this drive, he settles in a bit and is able to find more rhythm in his set and his ability to get off the ball and get to the spot. So we'll keep watching these clips here. This one was kind of more similar to that first play we watched, but Fautanu definitely settles in and gets stronger as the game goes on. Really like this set here out of Fautanu. We've seen his college teammate Roger Rosengarten utilize this 3-step shuffle jump set a lot at Washington, and also in his first year with the Ravens. And in the Brian O'Neill video I made, we saw him utilize that as well. So a lot of guys utilize this 3-step shuffle jump set sort of deal. I've heard a lot of people talk about it. Brandon Thorne, a bunch of other O-line minds talk about the name for this set, but I can't exactly recall what it is. I'm going to have to go back and find what they call it. But essentially, you take one step, and then to throw off the rhythm of the pass rusher here, you rush out and try to land your hands and disrupt his rhythm. And I think Fautanu does a really good job of that here. He doesn't land his hands perfectly. We've seen a bit of inconsistency with his hands, but I think that's very fixable and something that he'll definitely improve upon this upcoming season. But he does do a good job once he initially deflects and bubbles that rush of Zero. He's able to replace his hands and settle down with some space, giving Justin Fields some room to operate. So really like this set here out of Fautanu, kind of taking a page out of his college teammates' book here. Hopefully we see a lot of that this year. And good set overall, good play. Pass ends up being incomplete, but good pro by the Steelers O-line here. We're a few plays into this drive now, and I think this is really where Fautanu starts to find his rhythm. I really like this set here. He's able to get to the spot in a square position. We talked about that positioning to the quarterback, and he fulfills that here with some really good positioning, and his hands land here. We've talked about some of the inconsistency with his hands, but his right hand is able to land there, and you see that inside arm on that shoulder pad area there. He's able to get a grip so that when his outside hand gets knocked off, he's still got a piece of that shoulder pad with his inside arm and is able to replace and anchor down from there. So I really like this set here with how square he is initially and how he's able to get to the spot at a good angle and, like I said, replace those hands and be in a good position in relation to the quarterback. So this is like 3 or 4 plays into this drive, and you can see how he settles in and is able to gain some rhythm here. So great rep out of Fautanu, and he's going to keep building off of that as we continue on. This is the last play from that 2-minute drive that I want to go over here, and you see Fautanu's set is getting more consistent as this drive continues on. I really like this one here. He's patient when he gets to the spot on against Cooper here. And we talked about how I think one big part of Fautanu's game that's going to be a big advantage for him is his ability to recover and anchor down against these speed-to-power rushers. If you notice here, Fautanu misses with both of his hands, and Cooper gets a big part of Fautanu's chest here. But despite that, Fautanu's able to get a refit there with his hands, and he's in a really compromised position there with Cooper taking up all of his chest, and he's still able to refit and anchor down and find that anchor before Cooper's able to dent the pocket enough to be able to get to field. So I think this is a really good job. Despite not everything going as planned, Fautanu's able to recover really well and find his anchor there. So plays like that are a huge sign of positive traits that Fautanu possesses and something the Steelers will be able to see develop as he gets more NFL reps under his belt. So I really like this set, and I really like this recovery here by Fautanu, and he did a really good job of settling in during this 2-minute drive. So good rep here, and you'll see that momentum carry over in the next few plays. Another pass pro rep here for Fautanu, and I really like the angle of this set and his patience at the spot right there. The rhythm of the pass rusher gets a little thrown off by the tight end being in the mix there, and Fautanu's able to settle once he gets to that spot there and have a good relationship to the rusher when he makes the point of contact. I've talked about it before, tip of the spear. They say that your nose should align with the inside eye of the pass rusher, and that's the relationship that you want to have in regards to being square and in a good position at the spot. And I think he's in a really good spot there here with him being able to be patient once he gets there and anticipate that speed to power. And then we've talked before, I think Fautanu is going to have a distinct advantage in, again, speed to power, and you kind of see it here. There's a little pressure from the right guard here from Zach Allen, but Fautanu overall in this rep does a really good job being patient at the spot and lands his hands once he recognizes that speed to power and is able to anchor down and give Fields space on the edge despite the interior pressure forcing him to roll out. It's a good rep by Fautanu here, and I really like some of the things he's able to do in this rep. We haven't seen any run blocking out of Fautanu up to this point, and a lot of the schemes the Steelers called in this game here either weren't that successful and didn't go for many yards, or only featured Fautanu base blocking on some zone schemes. But on this play here, we see Fautanu get to work in conjunction with Darnell Washington. He's working a play side triple in this zone scheme here. Fautanu and Washington are responsible for this 5 technique, if you want to call them that, and this linebacker here on the play side. And Washington can't give that much help here. The backer's stacked on top of this end, so Washington's got to be pretty quick in working up to this end or this linebacker because of the leverage situation. But Fautanu kind of erases the need for Washington giving too much help with this strong first step here. And this first step's really good because he immediately gains leverage on this end here and is able to capture that play side number in the fit. He does a good job of getting that second step in the ground too after that strong first step and getting a fit on this end. And this end is responsible for the play side C gap. So he tries to play over the top of Fautanu, and Fautanu does a good job of recognizing that and torques him out into that play side C gap to horizontally stretch the play and clear up the read for Najee Harris to run through that space. So I really like the first two steps here, and then the fit Fautanu is able to get on this end because of the leverage he gained off the first step, and then recognizing when he's trying to play over the top and torquing him out. And it ends up being pretty successful play. Najee Harris is able to pick up a good chunk on the ground. And to exemplify how strong that torque was by Fautanu, this end starts probably around 3 or 4 yards inside the hash here. And I want you to look where he ends up after Fautanu torques him out. He's probably about 4 or 5 yards outside the hash at that point. So really good job by Fautanu getting that horizontal stretch there and clearing up the look for Najee Harris. The play side guard and center do a good job in their combination too, and the Steelers are able to rip off a good chunk on the ground here. So we haven't seen too much run blocking out of Fautanu, but you get a good chance to see some of the potential there with him just moving this end on this mid-zone scheme. So good chunk of yards for the Steelers and some good work out of Fautanu here. All right, we're into the fourth quarter now, and this is the last pass protection rep we're going to watch from Fautanu here. And I think it's no coincidence that this is probably his overall best protection rep from the entire game, with his set hands and ability to react to counters and stay in a strong position against the rushers. He puts it all together here, and I think it's no coincidence that it comes in the fourth quarter because I think he got more comfortable as the game progressed and started to get into a rhythm in protection. If you look at his set here, he does a good job getting at the spot and having that traditional aiming point that we talk about of the nose to the inside ear of the rusher. And he does a good job landing his outside hand here and completely throws off the rhythm of Cooper on this speed to power rush here. And once he lands that outside hand, he does a good job, gets knocked off of replacing his hands again and then settling down as Cooper works that counter after his original rhythm was disrupted by Fautanu. So Fautanu really puts it all together here with the set and his hands and then his ability to react to Cooper's counter and stop that as well. So as the game progressed, he definitely got more comfortable in protection and really put it all together right here. And I really like this rep out of Fautanu. And if he's able to replicate that throughout the 2025 season, the Steelers are going to be in really good shape. So excited to see what he can do in protection this year. And I think that's a really good rep there. I mentioned before how we didn't get to see much run blocking out of Fautanu here. So this play ends up being not great for the Steelers. They're running some sort of zone read here. And the Broncos give him a funky front to run it to. And 49 actually ends up going unblocked here and getting in on the tackle. But it looks like Darnell Washington and Fautanu are working in combination up to number 55 here. And despite the play not ending up being successful, I think Fautanu does some good stuff as the high leg on this combination block here. He does a good job with his second step, getting it through that midline of 94 and pressing him vertically on that angle. So just some strong fundamental blocking there by Fautanu on his BIP. on this combination here, and I think he does a good job driving this 5-technique vertical afterwards. So, like I said, not a huge flashy play, but we didn't get to see much run blocking out of Fautanu, so I just wanted to add that in there, that he looked good technique-wise on this play. So this is going to be the last play we watch here. It was very enjoyable getting to go over this tape, and I'm really excited to see what Fautanu's able to do when he's fully healthy with this Steelers offense, Aaron Rodgers, and the offensive line this year. So good game in this Broncos game. He definitely settled in as the game went on, and he put some really good stuff on tape that Steelers fans should definitely be encouraged about.